when resistors are placed in series, their total value is added. In this example, 3 10 ohms resistors would have a total resistance of 30 ohms. If we use the previous formulas, we get a value of 0.8 A for current and 19.2 W for power, or almost 77 times the power rating of the resistors. If the 10 k ohms resistors were used, we'd have 0.8 milliamperes for current and 19.2 milliwatts for power, well within the power rating of the resistors. My friend, I and a few other students tried to ask the teacher if those values were correct, and his answer, to no one's surprise, was, "No problems, just look in your textbook." I tried to argue that the textbook was plain wrong, and he shut me down, saying how way smarter people than him and I wrote the textbook, so we should just follow it. So everyone, some more reluctantly than others, placed the resistors in the breadboard, connected the power supply and waited for his instruction to turn it on, as has been for the first 2 exercises without incident. Then he said to turn on the power supply. Without even looking in the textbook, at first everything seemed fine and some people started to get their multimeters. A few seconds later, a girl screamed, "Fire," but it was really only smoke. A few seconds later and now we had small fires all over the lab and people freaking out. Nothing spectacular, and they died down a few seconds later, but enough to make most of the 30 people scream and panic, while the smell of burnt plastic from 15 breadboards and burnt ceramic from 45 resistors made the air pretty much unbreathable. To his credit, the teacher engaged the lab circuit breaker pretty fast and evacuated the room so no one breathed potentially toxic fumes. Since I was expecting it, I was more annoyed than scared, unlike some of the more sensitive people who were crying, and told the teacher, who was looking at the empty lab as if he was seeing ghosts. "There seems to be a problem, should you look in the textbook now?" He gave a nervous laughter and said, "Maybe you're smarter than the people who wrote it." The screaming attracted a more experienced teacher who, after making sure everyone was okay, just couldn't stop laughing at our teacher. He did keep using his catchphrase, "No problems, just look in your textbook," until the end of the semester, but he was now also looking in the textbook himself and spotted a few glaring mistakes made by those intelligent people. For some reason, he didn't seem to like the nickname we gave him when he heard someone saying in the hallway, "Next is textbook idiots class,"